Hi, it's Kirsten with Be Well Physiotherapy, back with a integrated physiotherapy, yoga therapy practice that is all about your shoulders today. So let's get started. We're going to begin sitting down. So I have a block just because I like to prop my seat up on my block for sitting. So finding the best way for you to sit. And then I should also let you know I'll be using a few props for this little video. So if you can find a block, sorry, not a block, a strap, or you can use a tie or a belt or whatever, just something that you can hold in your hands about this far apart. That would be helpful. Also, a pillow to support your head would be great. And I have this, it's called a felt pad. I'm not sure if any of you guys will have one of these, but what will work also is a towel rolled up, a blanket rolled up to be, about that thick. We're going to use it kind of like a mini bolster for a side bend. So, with those props at the ready, we are ready to begin. So, sitting comfortably, and just taking a few breaths so that you can really feel where the breath moves in your body. And once you've narrowed your focus down to feeling your breath and how your body kind of opens and then relaxes back down to help you inhale and exhale, I'd invite you to expand your noticing, expand your awareness so that you can take in all of your physical body. So today's practice is based on shoulders. So we'll be doing mostly movements around the shoulders. But interestingly enough, this was inspired from some feedback I got from the last video where a client told me that from the responsive core practice that we did last week, she really felt an improvement in her shoulders. So just be open to the idea, to the possibility, because it really is a possibility, that these movements through your shoulders may actually provide you with some relief or some freedom or some information about another part of your body, your back, your hips, your feet, really, seriously. So, as you're breathing and scanning through, take stock of your whole self, knowing that we'll be moving mostly through the shoulders and understanding that that can have a ripple effect depending on your body, your situation, your state. These movements will land differently for each one of us. Great. Okay, so let's begin. Bringing your arms up, palms facing down to begin. And you're just going to cross one hand over the other, then open a little bit wide and cross the other arm over and pick up the pace a little bit here. So again, this is a bit of a check-in posture. See how your shoulders feel. And as you crisscross, then we're going to switch so you come palms up and crisscross. Palms down, 3, 4, palms up, 2, 3, 4, palms down, 2, 3, 4, palms up, 2, 3, 4. Beautiful. Keep with this rhythm. And we'd like this to stay in your shoulder joint as you keep moving. You're moving from here, from this spot back to bring the arm forward and back. Notice if there's any tendency for you to want to push your ribs forward as you're doing this. And if you notice that, just can you slow it down a little bit, rein it in, do a little bit less so that your shoulders get to do the work that they have the capacity and the ability to do right now. As with all movements that we're going to be practicing, please move in a range or in a way that is pain-free, that is click-free and clunk-free, especially when we're talking about shoulders. Don't push past a click or a clunk, please. Don't push past pain. Find the amount of movement that your shoulders have today and honor that and work with that, and they will thank you. And perhaps you'll notice that other parts of your body thank you as well. Great. Okay, and then let your arms rest down from here. Next movement, arms can just come straight up from your sides. So again, anyone with if there's anyone with shoulders issues or pain, you may not be able to lift your arms right up to here without experiencing pain or discomfort. So that's fine. Just go to here. Go to here. Keep them right at your sides if that's what's available to you. So finding your comfortable place for your arms, not going any higher than shoulder height, okay? Interesting, when I come up to shoulder height, I feel something doing a little zing right down into my thumb. So I'm not gonna go there. I'm gonna go, that just tells me there's something up maybe in this shoulder that's not transferring and absorbing load perfectly. And so things are talking to me further down the chain. So here we're going to internally and externally rotate the arm bone. So you're going to turn that upper arm bone so that your elbow crease points down, and then you're going to turn the upper arm so that the elbow crease spins around and maybe points up towards the ceiling more. Turning, and you can do both arms at the same time. External and internal rotation at the shoulders. Good. So, noticing when you're here, if you're just turning your forearm and your hand. So we have the ability, without moving at all in our shoulder, to turn palms down and palm up, palm down and palm up. That's not what we're looking for with this movement. We're looking to check in with what's the capacity, the availability of free, easy, pain-free, click-free, clunk-free movement at your shoulder joint. So in order to do that, we need to move the upper arm bone in the socket. The socket is part of your shoulder blade. So turning just the upper arm bones. Good. I had another conversation with someone on Facebook who is having some wrist and hand issues. And it hit me again. Focusing on shoulders a lot of the times can help support any troubles that you're having with wrists and hands, especially when it comes to supporting weight through your hands in a yoga practice. So keep track. We want to hear what may show up is that if you like to move through the lower part of your arm, that maybe things are a little sticky up here in your shoulders, and that's having an impact and landing in your wrist, your forearm, or your hand. Good. Wonderful. Pain-free, click-free, clunk-free range of motion. Awesome, guys. Okay. Next movement we're going to play with, we'll come lying down on our sides, and we're going to use the felt pad if you've got one, or your rolled up blanket or towel. You want to roll it up so that it's pretty firm, pretty dense. And it's going to come across your mat. Bring your pillow for a landing spot for your head. So we're going to be doing a bit of a supported side bend. So as you come down to lie over this roll, I'd like you to try to line up so that it's hitting kind of midway of your rib cage. So your rib cage, you can likely feel, comes down just to the top of your waist and then goes all the way up into your armpit. So halfway between there, those two spots, and then let your head come down and rest. So as you lie over this roll, I'd like you to just take a few breaths. Good. If you can, bring your hand up onto the top of your rib cage. And see if you can simply direct your breath into the top rib cage so that as you exhale, those ribs can settle. They just settle down and in. Easy, easy, easy. You're not pulling them in. And then on the inhale, they open up, they expand, they push up into your hand. Good. 3 more breaths here. Feeling your ribs settle, settle, settle on each exhale. Great. Let's head over to the other side. You can certainly just roll over. I will spin around so that you can see me. Good. So you may be wondering, what's this got to do with shoulders? It's a very good question. Really, the effect or what we're changing, the stimulus we're applying here with this breathing practice over this side roll is at your ribs and your torso. So you're in a slight side bend. And as you add the breath in, your ribs expand, they lift as the inhale, and then they gently relax back down and in on each exhale. Now, how this connects to your shoulder is that your shoulder blade that I mentioned earlier sits on the back of your rib cage. And your shoulder blade has the socket in it where your arm bone, upper arm bone, snugs into to create your shoulder joint. So sometimes if there's tension or rigidity or holding or bracing around your rib cage, that's going to have an effect on how the shoulder blade can slide on your rib cage, which will have an effect certainly on your shoulder, but could also have an effect all the way down the chain to your fingertips. Sticky or braced ribs can also have that same ripple effect heading down the other way into your hips, knees, and ankles as well. So breath is coming just like we did on the other side up into the top rib cage. Awesome. Okay, and then we'll slowly come back up from here. Let's have a seat again, and we'll check back in with those shoulder movements we did at the beginning. So the palms down, palms up one. And just notice what you notice. Is there any more freedom of movement through your shoulders? If you noticed clicking or clunking last time, are you able to go a little further into the range without clicking or clunking now? Or has it just stayed the same? That's totally valuable information as well. All we've done is a little side bend through the ribs. And depending on you and your structure and your situation and your context, that may not have had an impact on your shoulders to the same degree as it would on someone else watching this video. Bringing arms out to the side again and turning from the upper arm bone. Turn so that the elbow crease kind of pivots to point closer to the ceiling and then closer to the ground. Wonderful. Okay. The next move, we're going to be using the strap or belt or tie or whatever it is that you found that will work. And we're going to come lying right down on your back with the strap in your hands. Good. Arms are going to come just up so that your hands are up, pointing up towards the ceiling. Hands about shoulder width apart on the strap. And you don't need a death grip here. Don't really clench and pinch with your hands because that's going to have an impact up the chain into your shoulder as well. So keep things just as much, only as much kind of grip through your hands as you need to not slide across. No more though. Good. Now we're going to do a movement of your shoulder blades. So I'd like you to push your arms up towards the sky. Your shoulder blades will slide on the back of your rib cage, will slide away from your spine and kind of come around the side of your rib cage. And then as your arms lower down, your shoulder blades will slide back down, kind of try to snug back under you again as they hit the floor. So reaching up and then sliding down. So again, let all of the work for this come from shoulder blades sliding on your rib cage. So if you notice any bracing, so if I really exaggerate, as you're lifting up, if you notice yourself starting to do a little bit of like a sit-up, kind of knitting your ribs down to your pelvis, just do a little less so that your shoulder blades can do this work to the best of their abilities. What's likely happening is that maybe your shoulder blades are a little sticky if that kind of crunch action is coming in. And so your abdominal muscles and your rib cage, they're just trying to help your shoulder blades out to push your hands up further to the ceiling. But for now, less is more, less is more, less is more, because as you do less, you're actually targeting the stimulus at your shoulder blades themselves, building pliability and responsiveness to the tissues that connect your shoulder blade onto your rib cage. Wonderful. Good. And then just let your shoulder blades rest down where they will. Then we're going to slowly bring arms overhead. Keep that gentle grip through your hands and let your arms come overhead. No clicking, no clunking. And then coming back to pointing up to the ceiling. So some of you may be able to go much further, arms overhead, than I am. One compensation that I have, that I've been working with, and the reason why I'm not going any further, arms overhead, is that my ribs like to help out my shoulders. So that if I go much further, I'll exaggerate, my ribs kind of pop up to help me get my arms further. And that puts a big arch into my back. And surprise, surprise, I have some low back pain issues. So moving only in the range that my ribs don't want to flare up and out, and that I'm not getting any kink or pull. So explore in your own body how far works for you. What's the capacity and the capability of your shoulders? Again, it will be different for everyone. Good. But what you may find, although the movements might be a little bit smaller, your body will thank you for moving in the range that is comfortable, that is easy, that is fluid. That really lets those tissues know that you're aware of them, that you're listening. That's when they're more, well, not even more likely, that's when they will respond. They'll relax. You'll be able to build more strength once you have an awareness of them. But by blowing past this compensation where my ribs arch, or if you have a click or a clunk or a pain in your shoulder at any point and you blow past this, you're no longer listening to your tissues anymore. Or maybe you did and you ignored it. Real change happens when we acknowledge and work in the range that's available right now. Awesome. I kind of yammered on there. Pretty passionate about this stuff. Okay, next movement. I'd like you to bring your index finger and your thumb together on both hands, and then bring the two together just over top of your sternum or your breastbone. Good. Then you can kind of imagine like you've got a string between your fingers, and your elbows are going to stay slightly bent. And the angle of your elbows is not going to change as you open wide to bring your elbows down a little closer to the floor. And then come on back up. Good. A gentle reminder to check back in with your breath. Let it be easy. And again, move in a range that is totally pain-free, click-free, clunk-free here when it comes to shoulders. Great. Once your fingers come back together, we're going to come back to that turning at the arm bone, so that as your arm bone turns, the orientation of your forearm and your hand will change so that your arms are pointing back behind you more. Wonderful. Then from here, let your arms come back overhead. And then back up. Wonderful. Moving in a range that's comfortable. Moving in a range that facilitates that easy flowing breath. Great. Then spinning at the arm bone again, the upper arm bone again, to turn so that your fingertips come back together. And this time we're going to change the orientation of our hands so that you're coming in like a prayer pose almost with your hands. Then keeping that position, let your hands come away so that your elbows come back down to the floor again, only as far as possible. So here there's an opportunity for you to notice that with the change in the angle of our wrist, you may feel a difference in tension or just a difference in the quality of the movement at your shoulder joint to bring your arms wide, like we were earlier with our fingers along the string. Good. Let's try going the other way. So bring your hands into like a reverse prayer, the back of your hands, or maybe just the back of your fingertips are touching. Good. And then maintain that position with your hands as you open up through the shoulders. And feel what you feel through that whole system of your arm. A subtle change in one place has an effect all the way up and down the chain. Good. And certainly we're basically putting our wrists into flexion, extension, and flexion with this. So only go in ranges that are comfortable for your wrists, right? Wonderful. Okay. Let's come on back up into our seated posture again. And we'll check in with our 2 movements. So arms coming wide. Feel what you feel. So the last time we checked in here, we'd just done some movements through your ribs. Now we've done some very specific movements through your shoulder joint, both your shoulder blade and the arm bone in the shoulder joint. What's the result for you here? How did that land in your body? Awesome. Let's bring arms back up to the side and then turning in and out. Internal rotation, external rotation of that shoulder joint. Not that shoulder joint. It's not just any shoulder joint. It's your shoulder joint. Good. And feel what you feel. Awesome. Okay. We're going to stay sitting and come into a twist. We're going to come into this twist in a very particular manner, though. So let's begin with our hands at prayer. And you can even bring your hands up so that your fingertips touch your chin. So we're going to keep your chin in line with your chest, in line with your fingers, as we begin the twist using the muscles around your waist. So begin the twist by turning, using the muscles in your waist. Good. Then come back to center. And then we'll head off the other way. So your pelvis, your hips, your legs are staying nice and still. The twist is coming because of the change in relationship between your ribs and your chest to this nice, still, stable pelvis. So at the center, both pointing the same way. As you twist to one side or the other, the orientation of your ribs relative to your pelvis changes. That creates the twist. Good. Next time you come to a twist off to your left, hold there. Good. Then reach your right arm out in front of you. Now slide your right shoulder blade a little further away from your spine. You may notice that that brings you slightly more into the twist. Good. Then just let your hand gently rest on the outer thigh. Left hand now can come away. And I'd like on the left side for you to draw your shoulder blade back towards your spine. Hand can come on your hip. Or maybe back of your hand can come around to rest on your low back. Right shoulder blade is just gently, don't go crazy here, just gently protracting, moving away from your spine. Left shoulder blade is gently retracting. So we're in this twist using the muscles around our core, our obliques particularly, and the muscles that connect your shoulders into your torso, the muscles that connect your shoulder blade onto your trunk. What we're not doing is pulling with our arms to passively kind of turn ourselves into this twist. Great. Unwinding here. Hands back to your chest. Let's do a few more turns either way, side to side. Feeling the difference, maybe the asymmetry side to side. And then next time you are turned to your right, pausing there. Left arm will come forward. Slide your shoulder blade. This is like the hands to the sky one we did earlier, lying down on your back. Shoulder blade slides away from your spine. Then hand just gently rests. You're not pulling with this. Right arm now, shoulder blade's going to pull back towards your spine. Gentle, gentle, easy, easy. And that arm can rest on your hip. It can come behind your back. It can rest just down on the floor, fingertips just down to the floor behind you. So our obliques have brought us into this twist. And then the muscles that support the positioning, the connection of our shoulder blade and shoulder itself into our trunk are supporting the twist. Check in with your breath. Only going so far as you're still comfortable and your breath is still able to expand and contract through your torso. Awesome. And then we'll come back to center. Another check-in here. How do you feel after that twist? Woo! I feel like my arms just lost 20 pounds. I don't know if maybe my arms were 20 pounds to begin with. Good. So feel what you feel. Good. Arms coming up to the side. And then turning in and out. Upper arm bones doing the work. What's the result of your practice? Which movements supported your shoulders more? Rib cage, side bends, twists, or the actual shoulder work themselves? So we're going to end off with one final pose. And we're going to come into goddess pose. And again, so goddess pose, the way we're going to do it, really, we're not going to be moving our shoulders. As I stand up, my head might come off the screen, but that's okay. Hopefully you can still hear me. A lot of times, as tissues start to kind of relax and become more supple and coordinated, as your awareness of your shoulders and shoulder girdle increases, sometimes it can help you feel a little more grounded in your legs. And then the opposite relationship is also true. With a little more grounding into our legs, a little more awareness and movement and coordinated patterns between our legs and our pelvis, that can help support a little more ease through our shoulders. So we're going to throw in this goddess pose to play with that relationship and see what it feels like for you. So starting with just bringing your feet wide, then we're going to turn so that your toes are going to point out to 45 degree angles. You will not just turn your foot to get there. What I would like you to do instead is turn the whole thigh bone, the whole leg And because your foot is connected to it, it will point off to the side. Okay. Turning from the thigh bones out. Awesome. Awesome, awesome. And then here's the crease of your hips. You can bring your hands maybe to the crease on the side, right where your leg bones connect into your pelvis. And then for goddess pose, we're just going to slowly deepen that crease. Think about letting your pelvis lower. And as your pelvis lowers, the thigh bones come up closer to you. Yeah? Good. And then come on back up again. Okay. Pelvis lowers. Thigh bones pivot up. Wonderful. Now you can bring your hands to the back of your thighs and just gently press back into your hands. Gently, gently. Okay. Maintain contact on the balls of your feet, so the base of your big toe, base of your little toe, and the center of your heel as you just gently press back into your hands. Beautiful. Then come on back up. Nice. One more time. Crease here. Lower your pelvis. Thigh bones. Whoop. Respond. Good. Easy breath. Nice. Gentle press back with your hands. 3 points of your foot. Feel the 3 points of your feet. Heel, base of your big toe, base of your little toe on the ground. Then let your hands just dangle. Arms just dangle. Easy breath. Lovely. Then pelvis lifts back up. Thigh bones, whoop, come back underneath us. Wonderful. Last time for our check-in. 2 poses before we finish up. So arms coming across. And how do you feel in your shoulders? Remember, not whoop, 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 not letting your ribs all get involved here. Just the shoulder joint. Awesome. And arms out to the side, turning. How did a little bit of mindful movement through your goddess pose? How did that land in your shoulders? Awesome. So staying sitting, or if you're more comfortable to lie down, you can lay back for a moment. And again, an opportunity for another general check-in. Notice the quality of your breath. Noticing which parts of your body expand and open and gently relax back down with each inhale and exhale. And check back in with all of the other parts of you. How do you feel following about half an hour of a shoulder movement practice? That's great. So you, of course, are welcome to stay sitting or reclined for as long as you like, um, feeling what you're feeling. Anyways, that was our shoulder practice, and I really do love hearing from you. So if you have any ahas, or you noticed anything really cool or interesting or whatever during this practice, please feel free to send me an email back. As you know, this practice was inspired by some communication I had with people following the last one. So um, hope you're all well, and I'll be sending out another one next week. Bye, everyone.